Folks, I'll tell you what, you're only one decision away from massive breakthrough in your life or massive destruction. And that's what life's about, is decisions. And I've heard that we make about 35,000 decisions every single day. I'm here with Joe Salerno, and he's the author of the new book, The Decision. Welcome, Joe.
Oh, hi, Kary. Great to see you.
I love it. I love it. So listen, man, now, was it John Gigante who connected us?
It was. It absolutely was. I
Wow.
met John through the business world, and he's the one that connected us.
I got to give him a shout out. So we'll tag John, make sure he shares this all over the place too. But
Absolutely.
listen, yeah, we got some good things to talk about today. Of course, we're talking about your book, and this is a very interesting book because I want people to see it on Amazon. It's just up right now, and it's called The Decision, and it's when is doing the right thing the wrong answer. You got me hooked right at that. So listen, we were chatting behind the curtain here a little bit that this has been taking you several years, this project. Talk to us about how this book started for you.
Yeah. So this project's been a little more than 2 years in the making, and it was actually inspired by my parents. I lost my father to Alzheimer's a couple of years ago. After a courageous 6-year battle. My mother is currently battling dementia.
Wow.
So this is an area and a topic which is very near and dear to my heart. I'm actually the board chair for the Massachusetts, New Hampshire chapter of the Alzheimer's Association, so very active. And as I thought about this, it was the concept of writing a book actually was something that goes back to my late teens.
Wow.
And life got in the way. And it wasn't until I was retired and actually had some more time on my hands when all of this started to really come to fruition. So it was a storyline that kind of came to me. And as I wrote the book, it was a bit cathartic, to be quite honest, as I was dealing with the grief of my father passing. Yes. I hope that readers will connect with Jonathan's pain as he's dealing with this issue, because that was my pain and some of the issues that I dealt with as I was going through it. So there's a large part of me that's in the book from an emotional perspective.
I'll tell you what, forgive my asking, but was this FTD, frontal temporal dementia?
It was not. It was
okay. Not. Wow. I'll tell you what, my mother-in-law passed a few years ago from that, and we walked with her. And so I can only imagine the tremendous pain, but I also heard some hope in there, Joe, and that is that the book was a healing process.
It absolutely was.
I believe it, man. As an author myself, it's almost like the story's inside you. And when you put it on paper, it almost is a way of like getting it outside of you. And now you can almost look at it from a different perspective. What do you think about that?
No, I absolutely agree. And as I was able to release some of those emotions through the writing, the weight was lifted. And not that it makes it any easier every single day, if you will, but it did serve as a vehicle for me to get some of those emotions out and on paper. And it also provided an opportunity, I hope, to get people excited about the intrigue of a thriller, but also learn a little bit more about Alzheimer's and the available therapies that are out there, and more importantly, what the Alzheimer's Association does every single day to support those that are struggling with this devastating disease.
I love this book for so many reasons. One is, I heard a long time ago some haters, Joe, tell me on some of my trainings for authors, fiction, they almost like lower fiction, as in like it can't do all that nonfiction can do, because I was teaching how you can turn a book into 18 streams of income or impact or influence. And, kind of the haters were like, what? You can't do that with a fiction book. And so I wrote Elixir Project to prove them wrong. I see fingerprints all over your book of you taking real life issues like Alzheimer's, putting it in a fiction thriller, not only to teach us, to instruct us, but also to give hope. What are you thinking?
I do think it's an opportunity to give hope, but as much as anything, for me, as I started to work with the Alzheimer's Association, I came to realize that we're not alone in this battle. And that's an important concept, because at least for me and my family, when we got the diagnosis for my dad, it felt very, very lonely. And that we were the only ones trying to come to grips with this, and found that support through the Alzheimer's Association. They have a 1-800 number. If it's okay, I'd like to throw it out there. It's 1-800 272-3900. It's a number that is manned by master's level counselors 24/7, 365. They're there to answer any questions and support, and certainly at no cost to you. And it's very, very important for people to realize, I think, that those resources are available to them and that they aren't alone. And hopefully that message comes across in this book as well.
You're doing some amazing things. Of course, the book is there, and some of the profits go to help Alzheimer's. Is this true?
Yeah, that's correct. A portion of the proceeds for this book will be donated to the Alzheimer's Association in the name of my parents.
Wow, that is powerful. So you're taking a book, you're taking pain from your own life, from your own experience, from your own loved ones, and you're basically turning that around into something. Besides, I looked at the theme here. It seems like a page turner. I mean, you have a legit plot about the FDA. I mean, you're taking on the big dogs, man.
Yeah, it was kind of interesting as the thought came to me. I mean, for me personally, I'm a pantser. So for me, writing just kind of from the seat of my pants, and started to let the story just unfold. And it really came to the point where I felt very comfortable, after a lot of research, in addressing not only the FDA approval process a little bit, but also some of the dynamics associated with that in the pharmaceutical research industry.
Wow. Perfect. So if we're having this chat a year from now and saying, hey, Joe, you wrote The Decision, your book's now out there, what would you hope that we talk about from this story?
I would hope that we would talk about that not only the fact that perhaps this led to people finding their way to the Alzheimer's Association and getting the help and support that's available, but also that it helped introduce a couple of new characters. I'm actually in the process. I have 2 other books, one that's fully written, the second that's about 2/3 written. A lot of editing going on with those 2 right now.
Yeah.
And a couple of the characters from the first book continue all the way through those 3, the next 2 books.
Wow.
So hopefully we're talking about how much people like these particular characters and their enthusiasm and excitement looking for the next book.
Wow. That's fantastic. We have people dropping the number. Got a lot of people watching from all over. I bet you Alzheimer's, it's like anything, it's called a RAS filter, reticular activating system. Once your mind is open to something, you see it everywhere.
Right.
Do you think that Alzheimer's is increasing, or do you think our awareness of it, our commitment to fix it, what do you think?
Certainly, the diagnoses of Alzheimer's and other dementia is increasing, and that, as much as anything, is just a function of awareness and continuing to educate our medical providers in how to screen for these type of things. But for me, I believe, and you'll hear this if you talk to folks from the association, that we've entered the era of treatment, because there are a couple of new therapies that are out there now that, for the first time ever, we're talking about actual therapies that are available for individuals who are suffering from early onset dementia.
Yes.
So it is a period of time where not only is the awareness increasing, which is a big driver for the association, making people aware, but we're also starting to see tremendous amounts of research being completed across the globe. And there are billions of dollars annually being funneled towards this disease, because it's something that we are seeing increase across America. There are right now in excess of 6 million people in the United States that are suffering from Alzheimer's or other forms of dementia. And there are about 11 million people who are actually providing unpaid care to those individuals. So this is a huge, huge issue for us as not only as a country, but as I guess for me, it's just something that we have to address. And there's just so much going on there that I'm excited that hopefully this book will be a vehicle to increase awareness and provide that kind of information to folks.
The book just came out, folks. In fact, it just came out. It's so new that the hardcover image is still dropping, which is awesome. And the paperback and the Kindle, this feels like a page turner. I'm hooked. You know, what lines would you cross to save the ones you love? When is doing the right thing the wrong answer? I mean, this is some good stuff, and yet it's wrapped in a real life issue. And you are so on when you talk about the caregivers, because they're the forgotten people. You know, I'm thinking about my my own father-in-law as he cared for his, late wife, but it's an issue that affects the grandkids, the kids,
Absolutely.
nieces, nephews. I mean, you name it. And wasn't it Bruce Willis who recently came
Yes,
on with FTD?
it is. It
Yeah.
is.
And I feel like that, the more we get this issue out there, the more funding. What is going on with medicines? You mentioned a little bit about that, but what do you think is happening?
So there are certainly there are most recently two therapies that are out there. Donanemab, which is the most recent one, and lecanemab came out, I believe it was the beginning of 23, with FDA approved treatments for individuals with early onset dementia. And those are therapies which are designed to help slow the progress of the disease. And so a lot of research is going on currently in this space across the globe. I think at one point I read something that there were research projects going on in 56 different countries across the globe. There are billions of dollars of research that are being dedicated to this effort. The Alzheimer's Association is the largest nonprofit contributor to this type of research. Spending millions and millions of dollars in search of therapies and ultimately a cure, so that they can achieve their mission of a world without Alzheimer's or other dementias.
Wow. So talk to me about when the book hit you. Like, I'm always intrigued, the cover, the title, the process. Like, take us in a little bit, because we have a lot of authors that watch these live streams as well, the replays. talk to us a little bit about the process of the book and some of your decisions related.
Yeah. So for me, the process, as I mentioned, for the writers out there, I'm a pantser. And so for
No,
me, it was,
explain that term.
yeah. So the term pantser really means that you write from the seat of your pants, that you allow the story to flow as it comes, and you just let the characters take you where they're going to take you.
Okay.
That can create challenges from a writing perspective. For me, it worked very well, but for example, the title of the book, I didn't come up with the title of the book until I was probably more than halfway through it and writing it, the first draft. And quite honestly, the way the book ends, I stepped away from the keyboard for about 2 weeks because I didn't know how the book was going to end. And then ultimately I woke up one morning and went, wow, this is how it's going to end.
Yes.
So it's a fun process, challenging process, but some of the advice I got from other authors and writers, certainly from the first draft perspective, is just get it all down on paper. First draft isn't designed to be perfect.
Yeah.
Get it down on paper. I think it was Stephen King who said, get it down on paper first, make it perfect later.
That's good.
So that's really what I did, is I just let the words flow and went from there.
I love it. I can see the growth. Our team loved working with you.
They were great.
You got a lot of the fans here. You got Tanisha and Lynn and Travis, and other people are jumping in. We're on multiple channels. We're on LinkedIn, Twitter, all these kinds of things, X, so YouTube. But Joe, this is fantastic. So your website, I want to share that with people one more time, and then we're going to drop in the link. But it's josalerno.com. Man, that was pretty slick to be able to get that website. Nice job. And you're doing things right. You got your books coming. Ooh, you got your trilogy lining up here. And I love the fact that your book is about real life issues, but it's a page turner. Some of the profits are going back, if you just joined us, to the Alzheimer Association. He dropped in the phone number. We'll share that again. We're dropping in the Amazon link as well. Joe, what would you like to tell anybody else?
Really, I just hope that everybody enjoys the intrigue and the moral dilemma that the book presents, and that they, again, take something meaningful from it beyond just the joy of reading a great thriller.
That's cool. Well, I love the message. I'm sorry you had to deal with the pain, but I tell people all the time that when you can turn your pain into a platform and shortcut suffering for others, they'll read the book, and the awareness. The only way we're going to solve this disease is for people to be aware of it, and how innovative and intelligent of you to put it in a fiction. I mean, do you see this one day becoming a film? I mean, I know a lot of times
it's funny you've said that. A couple of the early readers have talked about that. Me personally, how would I say no if I got a call from Hollywood and said, hey, this is a great book, which it is, and it would make a great film. It would be terrific, but
yes,
that would be nice.
Good for you for putting it out there, though, folks. And listen, I love for our visitors, our watchers, our listeners to really share the next time this topic comes up, FTD, Alzheimer's, early onset. Once these topics come up, now you don't need to sound like, well, gee, I don't know about it. You can actually say, you know what? Let's look at it from a fiction standpoint, because there's some real nuggets in there that are helpful. And I think it gets a community around. That's what I love to see you, Joe, is build a community around this. So thanks, Joe, for being here today. Thanks for stepping up and taking the risk. And I'm glad that John Gigante introduced us.
And thank you, Kary. You and the team, absolutely tremendous through this entire process. And I really, really appreciate it. And I hope you and everyone else enjoys the book.
All right, folks, get the decision today. Make the decision to get the decision. And we already have Keanu Reeves being recruited by Travis. We'll see what we can do, Joe, okay?
That sounds great.
Have a great day.
All right, thanks. You too. Take care.
See ya.